Hey everybody, what is going on? It's your boy Pure Shade back here for another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about Cold War zombies, and specifically what I think the biggest problem with Cold War zombies is, and I think a lot of you guys are going to agree, and honestly, I've only talked to a couple of people about this, and it doesn't seem like it's a big consensus, but I think that this is what my major problem with it is, so let's just jump right into it. Cold War zombies kind of had low expectations after what it is following. But honestly, I was far from disappointed. In fact, I was absolutely overwhelmed and shocked on how amazing Cold War Zombies is. I mean, you have such a refreshing zombies mode, and it feels exactly like zombies. This is a zombies game, but it's at the same time not. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm gonna try in this video, but mostly what I'm gonna be doing is talking about the biggest problem with Cold War Zombies, and that is that it's just way too easy. And we're going to be going over every aspect of that, from gameplay, Easter eggs, and all that good stuff. That's what we're going to talk about today. So the first aspect I want to touch on is the gameplay, and specifically starting with the loadout. The loadout, honestly, it just... I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to make it so that way the beginning of your game isn't just nearly as slow. The beginning of most Treyarch Zombies games have been just ridiculously slow. You have to kill every individual slow walking zombie, and you're going to want to be trying to collect points, so you're shooting each one 8 times in the leg, then you have to open each door, and
stink all over me.
It's kind of a mess. At the same time, it's a zombies thing though, is the games go slow, and what Cold War tried to do was change that, and they definitely succeeded. Honestly, the games go a lot quicker. At least the beginnings just feel a lot smoother and quicker with the loadouts. But at the same time, if I can spawn in within XM5 or an amp or I don't even know, Gallo, any shotgun, come on, I'm set for the first 10 rounds, no problem, and I don't think it's a big deal. I think that they successfully got rid of this whole, wanting to get rid of the slowness of the beginning, but frankly, I think it just makes the beginning a little bit too easy, and it's not the end of the world, honestly, but I just want to point that out, is that does make things a lot easier. Another thing I want to touch on were field upgrades. I mean, they are a huge improvement from what Black Ops 4 had, spawning in with some god tier weapons. But honestly, who wants Frost Blast when you can have Ether Shroud or Frenzied Guard? There's obviously some that stand out over others, and Ether Shroud I think is balanced, but I think it's definitely got some level of OP-ness to it. I mean, once you're in higher rounds, you're recharging that almost instantly, so you basically have 8-second zombie blood, and you're moving really fast, and you can jump out of any situation with the dash, and you have 2 charges of it even. It makes the game a little bit easier and a little bit more easy than I think they intended, honestly, but I don't think it by any means is bad. I just think that's another important thing to mention. Another thing I want to talk about is the skills upgrade system, specifically with perks. You still have your crutch perks, which I don't think are a bad thing. I think that crutch perks are kind of an essential part of any zombies game, because then it gives you this dilemma of, am I going to choose this perk over this perk? What am I going to choose? So you have the crutch perks like Jug, Speed, Quick Revive, and I think honestly Deadshot is more important than any of the other ones. So you have those core 4, but there's no problem taking crutch perks, because you have an infinite amount of perk slots. I mean, you have enough to take all 10 perks, so there's no really dilemma, honestly. And I think that if they had made it so that way you had 6 perk slots, I think that would have been good, honestly, because then I'm thinking well, would I rather have Stamina Up, or would I rather have Death Perception or PhD? Meal Kick, Elemental, and Tombstone I think are all ones that are more or less not quite as useful, but I feel like since you have so many perk slots, that's not something you even have to think about. You're just aimlessly buying perks, not necessarily aimlessly, but you're just buying perks, and you're not worrying about what if I can't have this or that. And I think that adds kind of a level of easiness that is a little bit much. In Origins, if you wanted more than just the core 4, you needed to get a golden shovel, and then go into zombie blood, and then dig up the red perk bottles, and then go buy them. It was difficult, but the difficulty of it was such a good payoff for being able to have Perkaholic in Origins, which was really great. But I just think that the fact that right off the bat you have infinite amount of perk slots, honestly, it makes it a little bit too easy. I don't want to give the impression that I think the skills and the upgrade things aren't bad. I think that one thing Zombies has always lacked is a true incentive to play a lot of games and grind other than just getting achievements or calling cards and stuff like that. That's never been enough for me. Like it's never been like fulfilling to get a calling card, honestly. I mean, Easter eggs were one thing, but like I don't care about getting 1,000 headshots with this gun, you know. I think that, you know, the whole ether crystals and that whole upgrade system is great incentivization for playing the game and grinding it out, and yeah. However, the main thing I wanted to look at for Cold War Zombies is that it's just way too easy. Like, it just holds your hand the whole time. I mean, you spawn in and you have an objective, and that objective is power. And then you have 2 more objectives, and that's to turn on Pack-a-Punch, and then it marks where you need to go to get Pack-a-Punch, and then the voice lines just straight up tell you what to do. I mean, come on, like, it's just way too easy. I did the Easter egg for D-Machine by myself. I did not look up any YouTube tutorial, and on some level it was fulfilling, but then I realized, like, this wasn't that difficult to do by myself. The game told me what to do, and I think that that's an important part of Easter eggs as a whole, is like, look at Revelations, for example. Revelations has some seriously crazy stuff going on. Like, it still boggles my mind that people figured out how to do the Revelations Easter egg in, like, what? I think it was just about a week. There is some, like, crazy, obscure, difficult steps to do. And, like, I don't even know, like, the whole shooting each object with the Pack-a-Punched Apothecant Servant. Like, it was just, it was a mess, but at the same time, it was like, wow, this is what I have to do to get this achievement. And I think that the Black Ops 2 aspect, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 aspects of doing Easter eggs, combined with the Cold War and the whole perk incentive upgrade kind of thing, I think that would have made it for a really great game. But they kind of just missed the mark, where they made the game just way too hand-holdy. And it's a little bit, I don't know what the word for it is. I don't want to say disappointing or annoying, but I think annoying is the best word to go for it. Another aspect of this is looking at voice lines. I mean, they kind of tried to fix it in Forsaken, where, you know, after you got the 3 crystals for the Chrysalax, you had the, either whoever is your Overwatcher guy, well, I don't know what the word for it is, whoever is talking to you, they'll say something that has to do with some sort of ethereal liquid.
Unfortunately, a special liquid found only in the dark ether is required.
And it's kind of like, huh, that's kind of, you know, interesting. Like, I've got these 3 crystals. Well, what ethereal liquid? I can only get it in the ether? Oh, dang, that sucks. Wait a minute, I'm here in this bunker area, and there's a pool of purple-looking liquid. Maybe I should go up and hold interact, and bam. Now you have a Chrysalax. That, I think, was so amazing. Like, that was such a cool little part. I love those voice lines. And that's what I think this game needed more of, was less objective markers and more, like, maybe hinty voice lines. And this is also kind of convoluted with the fact that you're not like a set character, you have an operator, so it doesn't make sense for your operator to be saying things. Like, maybe if you had like Richtofen and Takeo and Nikolai and Dempsey, it would make more sense for them to be saying something because they've been through it. But as like a random operator that you have little to no attachment to, it wouldn't make sense for them to say that. So on some level, it's partly that. But I'd say for the most part, they still could have had voice lines like Forsaken and getting the Chrysalax. I think that was a great addition. But, you know, in most of the other maps, they're like, oh, we need to shut down the cyclotron reactor. Well, here, let me highlight every single part that you'll need to shut down the cyclotron reactor. And while highlighting every single part, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do through these voice lines. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a true Zombies Easter egg. And for the casual player, I think that's great. I think that's amazing. You know, you don't want to scare casual players away by making it almost impossible to figure out what you're doing without checking a YouTube tutorial. But at the same time, I love that aspect of having the multitask, like watching YouTube or memorizing random codes and inputting random codes into random computer. Like, there was just so much fun to that. Like, you are on your own, you have to figure this out, and it's difficult versus this campaign style. You have an objective, and let me make that objective super clear to you. So overall, the game is just a little bit too easy. It holds your hand, and it gives you the opportunity to be nearly invincible with the infinite perk slots, and you can start with an assault rifle, and you have these completely, I would say, close to overpowered specialist abilities, if you want to call them that. and obviously, you know, I think Cold War is a great game. In fact, I think following Black Ops 4 Zombies, Cold War was just exactly what everybody needed to see from a zombies game. It was refreshing. There's so much to love about Cold War. It's one of my favorites for sure, and I'll probably make a video about that in the future. But there are definitely some bad aspects. You know, you can never have a perfect game, but I think that having all this handholding stuff just made the game a lot less replayable for me than some previous zombies. But all in all, Cooler Zombies, great game, did pretty much everything right. And yeah, with that, I'll leave you guys to your thoughts. If you have anything else to say, let me know in the comments down below. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.